First of all, I would like to underline that we are discussing about crisis. The crisis is not, in my idea, a crisis inside the system. It's the crisis of the system. And so the fulfillment of the capitalistic thought combinedly exhausts its ethos. Without a paradigm shift, one can only remain afloat in what Bauman calls the liquid society. All this is no longer compatible with the state of things, politics, as the government of communities, cities, nations, no longer plays the role of regulator. Technique and the logic of profit in perfect anarchy are vying for power to operate according to their conveniences. In this way, the scientist is intolerant of any restraint and pretends to be left free, to do what he feels capable to do. Identically, the capitalist shrinks any rule that slows down the search of his profit, ignores politics and seeks to subordinate technique. In the best case, proceeding without any governance allows the old system to perpetuate through self-adaptation, reproducing the factors at the origin of the crisis. In the worst case, the logic of too big to fail will urge the acceptance of new large-scale shocks, new crises, and any ensuing compromise. Development and progress don't advance, rather the perpetuation of answered imbalances. So a paradigm shift is necessary, and this is my opinion, is based on three factors: ethos, knowledge, and a space in which operate. Do they exist, and what are these three factors? First, potentially and concretely, where are the appropriate spaces for this leap toward the new development? The idea of Eurasian development belt identifies the physical, anthropological, cultural, and technical space in the macro continent that links together Europe and Asia with continuity. This involves the European nation, Russia, the nation of the steppes, and the Caucasus, China. Real estate in the vast region of the Latin America subcontinent, a project for new infrastructure of the continent was the argument of some discussion today. But I would underline that this project of new infrastructure of the subcontinent, American subcontinent, was presented in October 2012 during the first forum in Guadalajara, Jalisco, as a linking the new infrastructure with relating the new infrastructure with anthropological and cultural factors. And third, potentially the entire African continent is a space for development project. So the three macro areas are adequate spatial factors. Second question, the knowledge. There is a paradox that is good to be aware of. The financial and economic crisis is not a disease exploded outside the earth of the system. It is produced in the most sacred places of knowledge development. Take an example, the financial sector. To whom can we entrust the definition of a new financial system if the economic school that should elaborate it are those that over the decades have built, justified what produced the crisis? It is like entrust the cure to the pathogen factor. That is why we need a new thought, new school, new research, new knowledge. These factors fall within the context of the international network of the Razvitie University. It is no longer only an idea, it is affirming the availability and the involvement already of between different universities in different countries. I mentioned only, to be short, the meeting between the president of the World Public Forum, Vladimir Yakunin, with the leaders of the Jean Monnet Center of Trento University, led to decision to open the World Public Forum Center in Trento for common researches and projects. International governance. The ethos of capitalism has reached its conclusion. The financial crisis is the final form. The international bodies, they are not reformable, but must be refounded. From this point of view, the prospect of the BRICS creation of a new development bank is a significant sign of new vitality, and it moves in the right direction. In fact, it indicates the overcoming the terminal life condition of the old form is possible. The financial crisis, system crisis is the tip of the iceberg. Well in depth, we are discovering a crisis of thought, of values, of morality. It is within such context that dominatory conceptual alternatives enter in the scene to demand the foundation of a new paradigm. So I called a new ethos. Let me conclude. I would like to conclude with one consideration about the problem of the new geopolitics that the solution of the financial crisis involves. We can prefigure three different guidelines for its overall harmonious development: transatlantic, trans-Pacific, Eurasian. We will have a further shifting of global power from the Atlantic to the Pacific, or the creation of an ASEAN prosperity area, or a more balanced aspect based on three axes: transatlantic, trans-Pacific, and Eurasian. Many factors indicate the transition to the multilateralism. But there is also the risk that in the world of tomorrow, there is not going to be an heartland, but a polar disorder. So it is necessary to launch mechanisms of governance that are able to adopt and to guide projects of transformation, instead of being limited to measuring and recording the tumultuous dynamics produced by the crisis. What is needed in order to create an equilibrium for development? Such a path that is anything but simple benefit from at least on one favorable condition. And I conclude: the awareness that the ideology of the unregulated market left to itself as the best recipe for both the economy and the consumer society has definitely passed in the world. Thank you very much for your attention.